Today we're gonna make a Black Forest mousse, which has a rich, silky, dark chocolate mousse base with a Kirsch infused black cherry sauce and an unsweetened whipped cream. It's super easy to make ahead of time, which makes this the perfect dinner party dessert. So mousse is very simple in its ingredients, but it does require a little bit of timing. So I'm just gonna show you how I would do this if I were making it all at one time. First, I'm gonna start to melt my chocolate. I'm gonna put that on like simmering water, or you can melt it in the microwave if you'd like. So you just want to get it to a point where it's just about melted, and then we're going to take it off. And while that's going, I am going to continue to whip my heavy cream. I want it kind of at medium peaks. You could do this in the mixer if you want. Okay, so this is, it's a very large piece, but that's like somewhere between soft and stiff. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the fridge and let it kind of chill and get ready for the rest of the process. I am going to make my Black Forest filling. Now, if I were just making regular mousse, then I would just carry on making mousse, but we're going to put black cherries inside, and so I want you to see that. So I've got frozen cherries here. These are frozen sweet cherries. If you can find frozen tart cherries, that would be even more delightful in my opinion, but it's whatever you have or you like. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in here with all of their juices. My chocolate is actually pretty close to melted here, so I'm going to take it off. Just carefully wipe the bottom. So just go ahead and give that a stir. You can see that it is pretty much melted. There's a couple pieces in there, but we're not going to stress about those. We are going to just let them melt on their own. Okay, so back to our cherries. So we've got our cherries, and the only thing that absolutely has to go into the cherries is Kirsch. So Kirschwasser is like, it's black cherry infused alcohol, like grain alcohol. A lot of times there'll be artificial cherry extract in there. Whatever you want, that's what you should get. I am going to pour some in. I love these little OXO things. They're like so helpful. And then I've got a bit of sugar. Now, if I use tart cherries, then I would use more sugar than I am going to use with the sweet cherries, because these are actually quite sweet. And then I am also, because they're sweet, I'm going to add citric acid. If you can't find citric acid or you don't want to, you can use lemon juice. Lemon juice would be lovely in here. Lime would also be nice, but not really Black Forest. So I'm just going to add a little bit of citric acid to kind of, you know, bring out the tartness of the cherries. And then I'm also going to add almond extract. All right, so then we're going to stir that together. And then we're just going to turn that on the heat and let that simmer. We really do want it to kind of cook down into like a nice syrupy, saucy situation. So it's probably going to take about 10 or so minutes. I'm going to pour my cherry mixture into another bowl, and then I'm going to set that in my ice bath. You can actively cool it if it gets to be a serious situation and you're close, your mousse is close. You can stir it like this, but by the time we get to it, it should be fine. So I'm just going to take this and set this aside. All right, we are ready to make our mousse. I'm going to mix egg yolks. The yolks will make this extra rich and decadent, and then I'm going to add a bit of sugar to my yolks. And then I'm going to mix that up first, because I don't like to let yolks and sugar just sit together, because they will denature the proteins. So just give it a quick whisk and then pop it in your stand mixer. I'm going to beat that on high until it's like nice and light and fluffy. And I'm just going to give this a good little scrape here just to make sure that there's no, I want all of the eggs in our mixture, and this is not a lot of, you know, it's kind of low in the bottom in the stand mixer, so I want to make sure it gets all the help it needs. Just give my chocolate a stir, make sure it's still a good temperature and consistency. If your chocolate is too hot, it will deflate your mousse. When you go to fold in the cream, it will deflate it, and then you'll just get kind of a more dense and less light and airy. Our yolks are looking good, so I'm going to grab my whipped cream. I'm going to check and make sure that it didn't deflate or anything, that it's a nice consistency. She is beautiful. Yes. Look at that. So I'm going to pour all of my chocolate into my yolks. It's going to get all over the bowl. Don't stress about it. All right, so I'm just going to swap it. I'm going to scrape down the sides. See that it's thick, and that's from the eggs and the chocolate together, which is fine. So then I just want to scrape together all of my chocolate and yolks. I want to make sure that they're nice and mixed. So obviously the cooler your chocolate is, the thicker this mixture is going to be. So we're not going to stress about that. What we're going to do is called sacrifice. We're going to sacrifice some of the levity in whatever it is, like a meringue or here whipped cream, into our chocolate mixture to kind of loosen it up and make it easier to incorporate into your whipped cream. Grab some of your whipped cream. There's no specific amount, but I mean, it's not even a quarter of it. And then you're going to fold that in aggressively. I call this aggressive folding, but what you're trying to do is loosen this thick mixture so it more easily incorporates into the thinner one. So go ahead and put your chocolate, your loosened chocolate, into your cream. You do need to work quickly because the chocolate actually is what is going to set this mousse. So there's no gelatin or anything to stabilize it, but chocolate will firm up and set. And that is what is going to give your mousse its structure. But as soon as it hits this cold cream, it's going to want to set. So you're going to want to fold nice and, you know, with purpose. And then that's your mousse, right? God, that's beautiful. You could spoon this into whatever molds you're going to use. I'm going to pipe it because I want that nice clean finish. And I feel like that's what we do here, right? So go ahead and just transfer it into a piping bag. Just know that piping it is going to lose a bit of air. So I've got like a nice mismatch of old champagne coupes, but the other things I need are of course my black cherry mixture, which is cold, but you can still see has nice syrup in it. I'm gonna cut a nice big hole because I don't want to force all of my aeration through a small hole, because that is just gonna deflate it more. The heat of my hand is also gonna deflate it, so we just wanna know these things and, you know, work through it, right? So we're just gonna do a nice little kind of swirl, if you will. So I kind of want, I want like the black cherry like in the middle. Oh yes, like I'm gonna kind of push it down a little bit, get some of that nice syrupy stuff right in the middle so that every bite has a bit of black cherry. Yes, this is gonna be delightful, guys. So I'm gonna finish with a little bit of mousse on top. This is not totally necessary. You could kind of, you know, you can do whatever you want. Some of these are obviously a whole lot bigger than the others, but you know, whatever. I have a little bit of unsweetened whipped cream. You could obviously put almond extract in here. You could put confectioner's sugar. I just, I took a bit from the whipped cream before I put it into my mousse. I'm kind of I'm going for like a more, you know, free form than I often do. And so I think I'm going to just kind of like place and swoosh. I mean, obviously you could pipe this on, you can do whatever you'd like, whatever works for you. I'm gonna put a little bit of the sauce on the top, just to kind of, you know, nail it home, right? In case there was any confusion about what was going on in this delightful mousse cup situation, right? Whoop-a. Now, you would of course pop these in the fridge and then let them sit for, you know, at least 2 hours overnight. You know, you can make these a couple days ahead of time, so that makes it a great dessert for, you know, a party or a gathering or even like a kind of a dessert bar. You could do like small little ones, super easy. Great for Valentine's Day. You can of course reduce the size of the recipe and make it for 2. Let's give it a try. I am so excited, guys. Like, look at this beautiful mousse. It was a really big bite. Oh, the chocolate is super rich and chocolatey, but not too sweet, with that bit of cherry in the middle and like just the unsweetened whipped cream on top. Oh, this is like a perfect dessert.